So right now we are in probably one of the coolest looking forests I've been in probably ever. This is insane. There's a rainforest here in BC. Check it out. Traveling and hiking through this incredible rainforest, the big thing that I keep coming across is like, what do I film here? What do I talk about? Like, I don't want to do a traditional travel video or cinematic B-roll sequence. I want to do something with a bit more flavor. So the big thing that you'll realize when you're in like really gorgeous locations is that you want to film a ton of stuff. You want to assemble a story or some sort of moment. But like I said in the video that I'll provide in the description, is basically there is no reason for you to make a video if there is zero impact from its inception. So I'm sure you're wondering, you're like, well then Zach, like what do I make when I'm traveling? What do I make when I'm going somewhere? Well, I have a sort of go-to list of how I come up with ideas while traveling and being in certain spaces, and it's a pretty valuable list of tools and tips that you should have on your toolkit. So whenever you go into somewhere really cool like this, you'll have some sort of impact or purpose to provide part of your video. Let's get into it. So the first tip I can provide for doing sort of like location-based videos is take some time and just give yourself a little bit of distance to think. Usually when you get into really beautiful locations like this one, there's a lot of this. It is so crazy busy here. So give yourself some time to get some genuine inspiration. If all you can do is an experiential film, then give yourself some time to like really absorb the surroundings, so when you get into editing it, you can really make it have a bit of a beefier style than just like really cinematic B-roll. So another recommendation that I give you guys is if you want to do like some sort of travel video or an experiential type video, I've done plenty of those, and where they come most valuable is if you take some time gathering your surroundings and then try and implement that into your video. So listen to the sounds, listen to the feeling that you're getting, maybe add a bit of a narrative so when people watch it, they really get to experience the full thing. The biggest thing, the biggest priority of your entire day is starting a fire.
You get to explore colors you don't see in the city, emotions that sometimes you don't acknowledge. I'm very grateful for what the woods gave me.
I have a video in the description below called Algonquin, which really kind of encapsulates the feeling that we got when we were camping last year. So if you want to do something with a little bit more depth, a little bit more flavor, that's a really good way to do that.
When everything around you is alive and lush, you can't help but feel like you're just radiating bliss.
So what does this do though? Like, why are you bringing it through here?
Well, as I walk through the Capilano Park here, this is capturing a 360 view of everything, which means when we upload this with 360 editor, anybody will be able to watch the footage on their phone and swipe left, right, up and down and get a full 360 view of what it is that we're seeing right now.
Another one that you guys can do is to test out like a new piece of gear. So right now we have like a 360 camera, and it's kind of good to go into a new location, whether it's a new lens, new audio device, maybe it's a 360 camera, and play around with it. So if you know you're going somewhere cool and you do want to film something, try a new piece of gear out so at least you have a little bit more impact on that experience for your artistic flair. Another really good tip to tack on to whatever your experience is just do one of these, like a talking to camera. These always hold value no matter where you go, even if it's like a mental note for yourself for the future, or potentially there's just like a sort of theme that you want to talk about. Being in a cool location works for pretty much any type of video, no matter what you're talking about. It always adds value and allows you to have actually some sort of opportunity to film something. One major tip and piece of advice that I can give to you is try to avoid what everybody else is doing. So if you're in a really cool location, you're like, oh man, I could do a really neat Sam Colder style video. Try and avoid doing that. People have already seen it, people have already experienced it, and it's not expanding your creativity. Try implementing something new, and there's this really cool hack that you can do, which is just applying something that's opposite into the genre that you're filming. So if you're in a really cool like travel video location, tack on like maybe a dramatic thriller or do a comedy there. It's way more interesting that way. Even if it's not genre specific or narrative specific, if it's not you talking to camera, or even if it isn't doing an experiential style video. I think the best thing you can do is just try and experiment with your creativity within a space. There's always interesting things you can do, whether it's trying out a new camera hack or just experimenting with a sort of narrative, playing around with even the audio, just recording it off of your Rode mic on top of your camera. Always experiment and expand off of creativity, and you will always grow as an artist through that.